manners. You got a problem, he can solve it, we keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters, we pray through Yeshua, the only way to reach the Father.
Started from the bottom, now we heal. You already know what it is. Giving praise to the God of Israel. The truth has been revealed, even though a lot of masses live the whole world. They've been deceived for real. Read Revelation chapter 12. Time will tell who will prevail 400 year captivity. But we coming out of here, prophecy been fulfilled. Gotta live righteously, yeah, we'll see who is real and who will appear out. Cause of fear, cause of doubt, who will hear and believe our report.
Shalom Facebook, Shalom YouTube. Welcome to our history class. Tonight we're still in the law books. This night we have Deuteronomy chapter 4. But before we get started, does anyone have any questions?
I got a question. I know it's a kind of long song, but Psalms 35, is that David talking when he was running from Saul, or is that when he had the issues with after Bathsheba with Absalom and when he teacher with Bathsheba?
Did you say 35 or
35. Psalms 35.
the whole chapter?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out what he's directing to, like, I guess the whole chapter, but I'm like, is it more about reading it, but is it more him dealing with Saul, or he talks about the people bashing at him and mocking him? If that has something to do with the Bathsheba and Absalom situation more than Saul?
Let's read it and see. It's Psalm 35, verse 1. Plead my cause, O Yahweh, with them that strive with me. Fight against them, fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for my help. Draw out also the spear, stop the will against them that would persecute me. Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation. Let them be confounded, put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that by hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind. Let the angel of Yahweh chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery. Let the angel of Yahweh persecute them. But without cause, now they hid from me their net in a pit, which without cause have digged for my soul. Yourself, come here. Turn that back to verse 8. Let the destruction come upon him and unawares. And let his net, they have catch himself into that very destruction that involved. And my soul shall be joyful in Yahweh, it shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Yahweh, who is like unto thee, which delivereth the poor from him that is too strong for him, yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him. False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I know not. They rewarded me evil for good to the spoiling of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returning up into my own bosom. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily, as one that mourned for his mother. But in mine adversity, they rejoiced and gathered themselves together. Yea, the abject gathered themselves together against me, and I knew it not. They did fear me and cease not. With hypocritical mockers in peace, they gnashed upon me with their teeth. Yahweh, how long wilt thou look on? Rescue my soul from their destruction, my thought from the likeness. I will give thee thanks in the great congregation. I will praise thee among much people. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me. Neither let them weep with the eye that hate me without cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. Yea, they open their mouth wide against me, and said, Aha, aha, our eye have seen. This thou hast seen, O Yahweh. Keep not silence, O Adonai, be not far from me. Stir up thyself, and wait to my judgment. even unto my cause, my Elohim, and my Elohim, and my Elohim. Judge me, O Yahweh, my Elohim, according to thy righteousness, let them not rejoice over me, that would not say in their hearts, ah, so will we have it, that will not say we have swallowed them up. Let them be ashamed, brought into confusion together that rejoice at my hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor that magnify themselves against me. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteous cause. Yea, let them say continually that Yahweh be magnified, which have pleasure for the prosperity of the servant. And my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness, and for thy praise all the day long. And you say this has something to do with Bathsheba?
I'm trying to figure out, is it with Saul when he was running from King Saul, or was it in had a situation with Bathsheba and he was running from Absalom? Wait, trying to figure out like what time frame was it, like why I said time frames that we did it.
There's no definite time frame as a blended written,
Right.
but if you go to Psalm 55, have you been there?
Yeah, I'm just
So you see the similarity,
right.
right? And also in Psalm 39, both of those are similarities as what we just read here. So in both those songs, it's actually saying the same thing, that he's been persecuted for no reason. People turning against him, people that he thought were his friends turned out to be his enemies. So all three of those songs basically say the same thing. But doesn't have anything to do with Bathsheba, though.
Or Absalom.
Absalom, no.
Or King Saul. Just
I don't even know the time frame it says, because it doesn't mention anything about him being king during the time of Bathsheba, or even during the time of Absalom. It's something going through purchase. Yeah.
So if even King Saul, they really can't tell.
No, well, the people that Naveed is talking about, much like the people we have today, they were backstabbing. Much as a matter of fact, that's part of my sermon. Me talking about David and his relationship with the people, because David was the best king, right? But he went out, did those things, and gave him notoriety to kill off the Philistines. But in his song, like this one here, he's talking about the people that he ruled over, that they still hated him. Like that sounded like they were jealous of him. So I'm looking at, he put Psalm 39 with that in Psalm 55. They basically saying the same thing. So I'm looking at, this doesn't have anything that's to do with nobody but himself and his relationship with the people. You would think that they loved David, according to this, they were laying in the cup waiting for him to die. Right. Okay. Let's again we Deuteronomy chapter 4. This is Moshe addressing the children of Israel while they're still in the wilderness. Listen what it says. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do this, that you may live and go in and possess the land which Yahweh Elohim of your father gave them. Now he's addressing Israel. I don't know how people can just say God told me this, God told me that, God mentioned Israel. But that's the nation religion. Religion has its own agenda, and it's promoting that particular religion, so they can't promote it using Israel's name. So these people that he's talking about are the children of Israel. He's not talking to anyone else, not talking to Arabs, we're not talking to the Africans. He's only talking to the children of Israel. This is Moshe talking. Let's keep everything in perspective. This is not any other God. It's a true living God. And certain Moshe is addressing the children of Israel, telling them how blessed they are that Yahweh that we understand that. Let me read verse 1 again. Now that hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and the judgments which I teach you to do them, that you may live and go in and possess the land Yahweh Elohim of your father killed. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim, which I command you. Now that goes against what some of these brothers are doing when they celebrate Feast of Purim, the Feast of Dedication. He added to the law. Moshe said, don't add to this. Yahweh's law is perfect. You want to add something to it, you have 95 law. Yes, sir.
So with the Feast of Purim, when they celebrated that, and they kept celebrating that during the time of Esther, sweet, it's like that was a celebration of them. Is that kind of like when it's put in the Bible in Esther? It's kind of like a test to see if we would. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We kind of like test to see if we keep that or we not. Because it's like as a lot because you're keeping it for Purim, but you know they did it, and it seemed like the way it was written is like they kept doing it for a while they was in Babylon. But you mean because of the celebration what they were going through, but is it kind of like us in this day and time? It's kind of like a test of keeping Purim or not. You know what I mean? It's quite like a spiritual test.
When the Feast of Purim began, they were in Persia. Right. But you don't hear them talking about it in the Gospels or the epistles. What you do hear about is the Feast of Dedication. Now, I don't know if Esau celebrates the day of Purim, Feast of Purim, does he? Okay. Celebrate the dedication to right. So that's
They go with their hunger. That dedication goes with their hunger.
Hanukkah.
It goes with that.
Yeah. So that's their Hanukkah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something they came up with. Again, they're trying to add to the law. Moshe said, don't add nothing to it. The law is perfect. Because all this law, all these commandments come from heaven. And you from the earth, where you go trying to add something to come from heaven, your flesh. So I can understand. I'm glad God would put that in there, have that put in there. They let us know we can't add nothing to this law. It's not our job. The law is perfect. As a matter of fact, the 10th commandment is written in stone to signify that you can't change this. It's permanent. You can't erase it. But the Catholic Church did. They added to it. Well, actually, they took away from the commandment that thou shalt not make unto you any graven image. They took that out of commandments. Yeah. They split the 10th commandment in two. Which is, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor shalt and then another commandment, thou shalt not covet his house. And so made them two. So now you still got 10 commandments. But they took out the one did with the images. So then that's what happened. Yahweh left it in the hands of these Gentiles. They took liberty. And they deceived themselves. So I'm glad Yahweh kept it put together so we can read for ourselves that we're not supposed to be keeping them Catholic holidays. We're not supposed to be keeping Christmas. We're not supposed to be doing none like that. Nobody's doing Christmas, keeping Christmas in the Bible. But they swear the Bible talk about Christmas. They keep Easter, but they see Easter mentioned one time in the Bible. So it's not like it's a brand new day for them because they've always kept Easter. It's called by different names like Joshua and that other one. Asherah, that's right. Thank you. Asherah, those are those pagan holidays. But what we have is shock in that none of the religions do anything that the Bible tells them to do. It's like the Bible doesn't even exist. Praise God, they chose this generation to open up the book, read for ourselves, that this has nothing to do with religion. This is our culture, this is how we're supposed to live every day. Nobody lives by this. Do what you want. Just continues. Deuteronomy 4, verse 3. Your eyes have seen what Yahweh did because of all Peor. For all the men that fought above Peor, Yahweh thy Elohim have destroyed them among you. If you that cleave unto Yahweh, your Elohim are alive, every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my Elohim commanded me, that you should do so in the land where you go to possess. Keep therefore and do it. For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So I guess the opposite is true. So if you don't keep these commandments, you're not a wise and understanding people. And that is us. Deuteronomy 4, verse 7. For what nation is there so great, we have Elohim so nigh unto them, and Yahweh our Elohim is all things that we call upon them for. What nation is there so great, they have statutes and judgments so righteous to all this law, as I said before you this day. Only take heed to thyself, and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou get things that thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life, but teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, especially they that thou stood before Yahweh thy Elohim in Horeb. Yahweh said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach them their children. If you came here and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire unto the midst of heaven, with darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. When Yahweh spake unto you out of the midst of the fire, you heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, only you heard the voice. And he declared unto you this covenant which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments, and he wrote them up upon 2 tables of stone. And Yahweh commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that you may do them in the land where you go over to possess it. Take you therefore good heed unto yourselves, for you saw no manner of similitude on the day that Yahweh spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. Lest you corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flies in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in water to meet the earth. And lest thou look with thine eyes in heaven, and when thou seest the sun and moon and stars, even all the hosts of heaven, should be driven to worship them and serve them. For Yahweh thy Elohim have divided unto all nations under the heaven. But Yahweh hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as you are this day. Furthermore, Yahweh was angry with me for your sakes, and swear that I should not go over Jordan, and that I should not go in unto that good land, Yahweh that Elohim given you for an inheritance. When I must die in this land, I must not go over Jordan. You shall go over just that good land. Verse 23. Take heed unto yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, which he made with you, and make you a graven image or the likeness of any man, which Yahweh thy Elohim would have forbidden thee. The Yahweh thy Elohim is a consuming fire, even a jealous Elohim. Thou shalt beget children and children's children. Ye shall remain long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves and make a graven image of the likeness of anything and shall be evil in the sight of Yahweh thy Elohim, to provoke him to anger. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, and you shall soon utterly perish from all the land, whereupon too you go over Jordan to possess it. You shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and you shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither Yahweh shall lead you. There you shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from this thou shalt seek Yahweh thy Elohim, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart, and with all thy soul. If thou art in tribulation, and all these things will come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to Yahweh thy Elohim, and shalt be obedient unto his voice, the Yahweh thy Elohim is a merciful. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which is swear unto them. Now we realize he's actually talking to two audiences, because he mentioned the latter days. Well, they weren't in the latter days at the time they heard that. So you're talking to someone in the future that don't realize that can identify with this. So I think what he's saying is the reason we hear what we hear because these are the latter days. They could hear 50, 60 years ago, but they can hear it now. So we are in the latter days just because of this. I'm going to read verse 30 again. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things will come upon thee, even in the latter days, thou turn to Yahweh thy Elohim, and shall be obedient unto his voice. For Yahweh thy Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he sware unto them. For ask not of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that Elohim created man upon the earth, and ask from one side of heaven unto the other, whether thou have any such thing as this great thing is, or have been heard, like the elder people. Verse 33. The elder people hear the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard, and live. I have Elohim, I say, to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation, by temptation, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that Yahweh your Elohim did for you in Egypt, before your eyes. Unto thee it was shown that thou mightest know that Yahweh, he is Elohim, there is none else beside. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, and he may instruct thee, and upon earth he showed thee with great fire, and thou heard of his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, brought thee out in his sight with the mighty power out of Egypt, to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, bring thee in, give thee their land for an inheritance, as it is this day. Know therefore this day, and consider in thine heart, that Yahweh is Elohim in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath, there is none else. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou may prolong thy days upon the earth, which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee forever. Then Moshe severed 3 cities on this side Jordan, the sun rising, and the slave may flee thither, which should kill his neighbor unawares, hitting him not in time past, and had fled unto one of these cities who might flee. Namely Bezer in the wilderness, and the plain country of the Reubenites, the Ramoth from Gilead, and the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan, of the Manassites. And this is law which Moshe set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Moshe gave unto the children of Israel after they came forth out of Egypt. On this side Jordan, in the battle against Beth Peor, and in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Israel smote after they were come forth out of Egypt. And they possessed this land, and the land of Og, king of Bashan, 2 kings of the Amorites, which were on this side of Jordan, toward the sun rising. From Arar, which is by the bank of the river Arnon, even unto Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the plain on this side Jordan eastward, even unto the sea of the plain, under the springs of Pisgah. And Moshe called all Israel and said unto them, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 1. And Moshe called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that you may learn them and keep them and do them. Yahweh our Elohim made a covenant with us in Horeb. Yahweh made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day. Yahweh talked with you face to face in the mount out in the midst of the fire. I stood between Yahweh and you at that time to show you the word of Yahweh, that you were afraid by reason of the fire, went not up into the mount, saying, I am Yahweh thy Elohim, brought thee out unto the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have none other God before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is heaven above, or that is from the earth beneath, or that is the water beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. I, Yahweh thy Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy Elohim in vain. The Yahweh will not hold them guilty to take his name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it. Yahweh thy Elohim hath commanded me. 6 days thou shalt labor, do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as you. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that Yahweh thy Elohim brought thee out thence through a mighty hand by a stretched out arm. Therefore Yahweh thy Elohim commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. Honor thy father and thy mother, as Yahweh thy Elohim hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee in the land of Yahweh thy Elohim giveth. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, neither thou shalt bear false witness against thy neighbor, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. These words Yahweh spake unto all the assembly in the mount out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, the great voice. He added no more. He wrote them in 2 tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. And it came to pass, when you heard the voice out in the midst of the fire, out of the darkness, but the mountain did burn in fire, that you came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribe and your elders. And you said, Behold, Yahweh our Elohim hath showed us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that Elohim does talk man, and he will. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of Yahweh our Elohim anymore, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh that have heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire as we have and live? Go thou near to hear all that Yahweh our Elohim shall say, and speak thou unto us all that Yahweh our Elohim shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it. And Yahweh heard the voice of your words, when you spake unto me. And Yahweh said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. Told that they have such an heart in them that they should fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with me, with that children forever. Go say to them, get you into your tents again. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess them. You shall observe and do therefore, if Yahweh your Elohim have commanded you, you shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. You shall walk with all the ways which Yahweh your Elohim have commanded you, that you may live, and that it may be well with you, and that you may prolong your days in the land you shall possess. Deuteronomy 6, verse 1. Now these are the commandments, statutes, and the judgments which Yahweh your Elohim commanded me, commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you go possess, that thou mayest fear Yahweh thy Elohim, keep all his statutes, his commandments which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's sons, all the days of thy life, that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, that you may increase mightily. Yahweh Elohim and thy father have promised thee in the land that flows from milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim is one, have a name. Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontness between thine eyes. Verse 8, what does that represent? Phylacteries. Right, there's some of them friends and brothers never even heard of. Verse 9, and thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. And it shall be when Yahweh thy Elohim shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham and to Esau and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities without building not, the house full of all good things without building not, and will dig without digging not, vineyards and olive trees without planting not, even thou, when thou shalt have eaten and be full, then beware, lest thou forget Yahweh, who brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear Yahweh thy Elohim and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. You shall not go after other gods of the people which are round about you. Yahweh the Elohim is a jealous Elohim among you, lest the anger of Yahweh thy Elohim be kindled against thee, and destroy thee off the face of the earth. You should not tempt Yahweh your Elohim as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he have commanded thee, And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of Yahweh, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land, which Yahweh swear unto thy fathers, and cast out all thine enemies from before thee, that Yahweh hath spoken. And when thy son asked thee in time to come, saying, what mean the testimony and the statutes and the judgments which Yahweh our Elohim commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto thy son, who were Pharaoh's bondman in Egypt, and Yahweh brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Yahweh showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from this, that he might bring us in to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. And Yahweh commanded us to do all these statutes to fear Yahweh our Elohim for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. This shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our Elohim, as he commanded us. Now, apparently this is not about some Israelite brothers, so they run to the apocrypha and the students greatly they get more knowledge, but this is talking about not only two different timelines, but also talking about eternal life. It says you can keep these things forever. The name is supposed to be given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob forever. So we're looking at eternal things here, even in the law. We're supposed to keep these commandments as long as we live. But those other books, those outside books, don't talk about eternal life. They talk about different stories, but they cannot authenticate who the author was that wrote the Bible and the student bigger. So then you look at, you like reading the book of Jasher, like the book of Enoch. They swear that these books are legit. No, Enoch is not legit. The book of Enoch is not legit because it's written in the Ethiopian language. And Cush had been born at the time of Enoch. So how to get it? Well, Enoch writes something in the Ethiopian language. That add up, but that's what a lot of people flock to. The book of Enoch scholars have brought down 300 books from heaven, and you don't know what happened to them. But that is a book of Enoch, part 2. But it's written in the Slavic term language. So how did they get the book? In the Slavic, did Enoch write that too? So those languages wasn't around at the time of Enoch. If that's what they want you to be, you got Enoch 1 and Enoch 2. Y'all should not add nothing to this book. So there's nothing that they can show us. Now, I read part of Jasher, and Jasher is just about spot on. When you talk about the timeline, it talks about our fathers when they were in Egypt, around the we just were fearful of them. So there was mighty fighters, there's mighty men. But in the book of Jasher, you have Balaam invited Pharaoh to kill off the men children. Right? But that didn't work because the midwives did not kill them off right. But then Job shows up. Job says, let them cast the male children into the river. Because all Job's idea. So you see why we can't take those outside books seriously. And why would Job be there? And yet he has his own book. He was mad after Yahweh's own heart, so he surprised Pharaoh will cast the men children into the river. That's why you can't take these books serious, like the book of Jasher. I think the latest edition of the book of Jasher was written in 1830. Now they mentioned the book of Jasher in the scriptures, right? There was an actual book of Jasher, but that's not the Jasher we talk about here. This, if as long as you know this book, there's no problem to read outside books like Jasher and Apocrypha. Because you know you got two different stories going on here. You cannot combine the both. They're not. First of all, you can't authenticate with the author. And for some of that, like I mentioned before, Eli Yaakov mentioned this too. You know, the good thing about the Apocrypha is first and second Maccabees. That bridges the gap between the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire. That's mentioned between Malachi, Matthew. You don't see about transition from the Greek Empire to the Roman Empire. Matter of fact, at the time that the Greek Empire mentioned is in the book of Daniel, but you never read about until chapter 11 of Daniel. He's prophesying that these are the things that are going to happen during that Greek Empire. That he go number one in season. He's speaking about the Greek Empire, but he's not living in the Greek Empire. So we don't have any history about what our father did outside of what we read in Daniel. And so outside study to see what happened during the Greek Empire. Because we had Alexander the Great, which was pretty easy on the Jews. But then when he died, that's when Antiochus Epiphanes arrived on the scene and told the Jews they couldn't practice keeping Yahweh's law. You can't circumcise the children of anybody. Keeping Yahweh's law, they were going to kill them. That was during the Greek Empire. But we don't have it in the book, just what Daniel is saying. So, again, first and second Maccabees bridges the gap between Persia and the Roman Empire. So, shows you the battle that Maccabees had with the Greeks and how they won their independence and their own currency. So, but that didn't last long because, again, Rome showed up. They took over from that. Let's continue. Deuteronomy 7, verse 1. When Yahweh thy Elohim shall bring thee into the land which thou wilt possess it, and cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when Yahweh thy Elohim shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto the son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Further, they will turn away thy son from following me, and they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you, and destroy these suddenly. But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. Thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy Elohim. Yahweh thy Elohim have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. That doesn't sound like that generic God we've been taught, that God knows everybody. Well, how is it that he has only one people above all the people of the earth? That's a mistake that Christians make. Because they say, well, God casts people away, he chose us. That don't sound like this either. I mean, this is God talking, right? So why would he lie? And later on, so now I'm gonna choose these Christians because y'all killed JC. See, that's petty. But they want us to accept that. But the book proves them wrong. Y'all, I mean, Paul said it in Romans chapter 11. Paul said that had Elohim cast his people away, Elohim forbid. But also in Israelite, on the seed of Abraham, I will try to pitch. So Paul would let you know, I'm an Israelite. How can you say he cast us away? I'm writing these letters to them. But they depend on people not reading the book. They depend something one day that somebody would actually read the book and see that, yeah, y'all are lying. Y'all ain't all that. You're not special to Yahweh. We're special to Yahweh. We are a chosen people. That's good news for people that have been downtrodden for 400 years. To realize that God loves us more than anybody else on earth. That's good news. Let's continue. Yahweh, verse 7. Yahweh did not set his love upon you nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people. But you were the purest of all people. But because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, that Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand to redeem you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. So again, there's that love word. We got a God that loves us. Wow. But when you look at Christians and their prosperity, it would seem that God loves Christians. No, that means that they fail for Satan. Because Satan, simply the Mashiach, said, all this what you see belongs to me. And I give it to whom I please. And I give it to you if you bow down and worship me. Right? So apparently he went to the Gentiles. I see the Gentiles are not Yahweh's people, so they don't have any protection against Satan. As long as you keep these commandments, you have protection from the temple. He, like written in the gospel. Yeah, he took the Mashiach, but that didn't stop him from continuing later on the temple's fall. Yeah, so he wouldn't do it. Because his job is to make sure that the Mashiach is dead. Because he has the power of death. But the Mashiach overcame that power of death, rose up here. So that's something people don't understand. They don't understand the resurrection. All they know is they got from the Catholic Church that when Christian dies, they go to heaven. Again, the book disputes that. So they're not going by what the book says they are. What they're going by is what the Catholic Church says. The Catholic Church started that going off the heaven back. But they don't want to stop. But that's why black people don't read their Bible.
It said here, I got it.
What's the matter?
I thought I blocked it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you deal with people like that, it's hard to keep your mouth closed. If you tell them, it's like whacking at a daggone wasp nest.
Yeah, it's best to choose your battles. You know how to be in a battle with them. If you see their lines of mind is locked up, the Christianity, let's don't say nothing about it to them. They're never going to listen. All right. So that you may see somebody want to know whether you know something about. That's what you talk to. The diehard Christians, waste of time. Yeah. Let's continue. Deuteronomy 7 verse 9. Know therefore that Yahweh Elohim, he is Elohim, the faithful Elohim, who keep covenant and mercy with them that love him, to keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repay them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hated him, he will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. In verse 10, He says, and repay that hate him to their face to destroy them. You will not be slack to him that hated him. You will repay him to his face. It sounds like he taking it personal. That I dare not keep my commandments. I'm gonna get you back. That's what it sounds like. Say I'm gonna pay you to his face. Now you're not gonna see his face, but you'll see yours. But you will see what that repayment gonna end up being like. And you know that'll be coming from Yahweh himself. I mean, now, of course, we're just not learning this law, right? We're still studying it. We're not going to keep it perfect. But it's not like we've turned away from it. We're worshiping God, right? And we take baby steps to keep these laws. And they're very interesting laws. And it keeps our minds focused on why these particular laws were given. And why no one else has any laws like our laws. But they don't have a God like our God. Their God does not tell them what to do. All they do is worship their God, imaginary God. But he doesn't have to work like this. They don't have a work to go by. At least the Muslims have the Quran. But they cast doubts on that too. Especially when you consider that Muhammad couldn't read or write. And then they had questions about the hadith. That becomes suspect now. So the whole religion, Islam is coming into question. Deacon Yahshua sent me a story about Michigan. I got all the Muslims up there, right? Well, they had a march the other day. They had about 40 to 60,000 people marching through, I think it's Dearborn, Michigan. And that's a lot of nerve, man. You come to another man's country and you want to practice your religion right in his face. But it's a white man's land. He let it happen. And we can't tell white people. But that never happened in the land of Israel. Won't be any Islam in practice at that time. Let's continue. Deuteronomy 7, verse 12. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if you hearken unto the judgments and keep and do them, that Yahweh thy Elohim shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee, will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, the grain and the wine and all, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep in the land which he sware unto thy father to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people there, all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle. And Yahweh will take away from thee all sickness, and I will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt which thou knowest upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate you. Thou shalt consume all the people which Yahweh the Elohim shall deliver thee. Thine eyes shall have no pity upon them. Neither shalt thou serve their gods, that will be a snare unto thee. Thou shalt say in thine heart, these nations are more than I. How can I dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what Yahweh thy Elohim did of Pharaoh and unto all Egypt. The great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and wonders and the mighty hand and the stretched out arm, whereby Yahweh thy Elohim brought thee out. So shall Yahweh thy Elohim do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. Moreover, Yahweh thy Elohim will send a hornet among them until they are left, and hide themselves from thee, be destroyed. Thou shalt not be affrighted at them, but Yahweh thy Elohim is among you, a mighty Elohim and terrible. And Yahweh the Elohim will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them all at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon them. But Yahweh thy Elohim shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy thee with a mighty destruction, until they be destroyed. And he shall deliver thee, deliver their kings unto thine hand, into thine hand. Thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou have destroyed them. The graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them. Nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination to Yahweh your Elohim. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. Chapter 8, verse 1. And all the commandments which I command thee this day shall be observed to do, that you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land Yahweh sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh thy Elohim led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart, whether thou wilt keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna which thou knewest not, neither did thy father know, that he may make thee know that man does not live by bread only, but by every word proceeding out of the mouth of Yahweh does man live. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so Yahweh thy Elohim chasteneth thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For Yahweh thy Elohim bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks, of water, of fountains, of death, and springs out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, and vine, fig trees, and pomegranate, a land of olive oil and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness, thou shalt not lack anything in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig grass. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless Yahweh thy Elohim for the good which Yahweh, good land which he hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not Yahweh thy Elohim, and not keep your commandments and his judgments and his statutes which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and built goodly house, and brought therein to thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget Yahweh thy Elohim, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, whose house from the house of bondage, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water. He brought thee forth water out of the dry planet. He fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy father knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, and do thee good at thy latter end. And thou shalt lay in thine heart, thou shalt say in thine heart, my power and might of my hand have got me this wealth. But thou shalt remember Yahweh thy Elohim, for it was he that giveth thee power for your wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget Yahweh thy Elohim, to walk after other gods, to serve them and worship them, I testify against you this day, that you shall surely perish. As the nations which Yahweh destroyed before your face, so shall you perish, because you will not be obedient unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. But no one's ever heard the voice. But as we read and we respond and react. That's his voice. Word that we're reading, we understand the words, that's his voice. And remember your father said, you don't want to hear that voice. That the book is, and now you can hear my voice again. Deuteronomy 9, verse 1. Hear, O Israel, thou art passed over Jordan this day, to go in and possess nation greater and mightier than thyself. See this great and prince up to heaven, a people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Adam? Understand therefore this day, that Yahweh the Elohim is he before thee, as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, he shall bring them down before thy face. So shall thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Yahweh hath said unto thee. Speak not thou in thine heart, have that Yahweh thy Elohim hath cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness Yahweh hath brought thee in to possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations Yahweh does drive them out from before thee, not for thy righteousness, or for the uprightness of thine heart, does thou go in to possess the land. But for the wickedness of these nations Yahweh thy Elohim does drive them out from before thee, that he may perform the word which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand therefore, that Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee not this good land, possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. Remember and forget not how thou provoked Yahweh thy Elohim with wrath in the wilderness from the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt until you came into this place. You have been rebellious against Yahweh. And also in Horeb, you provoked Yahweh to wrath, so that Yahweh was angry with you to have destroyed. When I was gone up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant which Yahweh made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. And Yahweh delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written finger of Elohim. And on them was written, according to all the words which Yahweh spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the cloud in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass at the end of the 40 days and 40 nights that Yahweh gave me the 2 tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant. And Yahweh said unto me, arise, get me down quickly from hence, for thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Furthermore, Yahweh spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Let me alone that I may destroy them, and blot out their name from under heaven. And I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. Now, verse 14 says a lot, doesn't it? It says, let me alone that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven. So there are names up in heaven that could be blotted out. Verse 15. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire. And the 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, and behold, you had sinned against Yahweh your Elohim. He had made you a molten calf. You had turned aside quickly out of the way which Yahweh had commanded you. And I took the tables, 2 tables, and cast them out of mine hand, and brake them before your eyes. And I fell down before Yahweh as at the first 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water, because of all your sins which you sinned in doing wickedly in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith Yahweh was brought against you to destroy you. But Yahweh called unto me at that time also. And Yahweh was very angry with Aaron who had destroyed him. And I prayed for Aaron also at the same time. And I took your sin, the calf that you had made, and burnt it with fire, and stamped it, ground it very small, even until it was as small as dust, and I cast the dust thereof into the brook that was in it out of the mouth. And at Tabor, and at Messiah, and at Kibroth, at the Abba, you provoked Yahweh to wrath. Likewise, when Yahweh sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and possess the land which I have given you, then you rebelled against the commandment of Yahweh your Elohim, and you believed him not, nor hearkened to his voice. You have been rebellious against Yahweh from the day that I knew you. Thus I fell down for Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down at first, because Yahweh said he would destroy you. I prayed therefore unto Yahweh, and said, O Adonai Elohim, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember thy son Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin. Lest the land which you brought us out of saved, saved, because Yahweh was not able to bring them into the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, he had brought them out so to slay them in the wilderness. Yet they are thy people, and thine inheritance. Thou brought out by thy mighty power and by thy stretched out arm. Chapter 10, verse 1. At that time, Yahweh said unto me, Hew thee 2 tables of stone, like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And when I will write on the tables the words that were in the first table, which thou bringest, thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of shipping wood, and he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up unto the mount, having the 2 tables in my hand. And he wrote on the tables according to the first writing, the 10 commandments. Yahweh spake unto me in the mount out of the midst of the fire, in the day of the assembly, and Yahweh gave them unto me. And I turned myself and came down from the mount, and put the tables in the ark which I had made, and there they be as Yahweh commanded. When the children of Israel took that journey from Beeroth of the children of Yelkan to Mosera, where Aaron died, there he was buried, and Asa his son ministered in the priest's office in his stadium. From this they journeyed unto the Goda, and from the Goda to Jotbath, a land of rivers and waters, and of waters. The land of rivers and waters. At that time, Yahweh separated the tribe of Levi, bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, to stand before Yahweh to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto the day. Wherefore Levi had no part nor inheritance with the brethren. Yahweh is his inheritance according to Yahweh thy Elohim promise. And I stayed in the mount according to the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And Yahweh hearkened unto me at that time also, and Yahweh would not destroy me. Yahweh said unto me, Arise, take that journey before the people, that they may go in and possess the land, which I swear unto the Father to give unto them. And now Israel, what does Yahweh thy Elohim require of thee? But to fear Yahweh thy Elohim, and walk in all of his ways, and to love him and serve Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy soul, and keep the commandments of Yahweh and the statutes which are considered today for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is Yahweh, is thy Elohim, and the earth also with all that therein is. Only Yahweh having the light and thy father to love it, and show thy seed after they go, even you among all people have the day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. Now you see this term before, the foreskin of your heart. Paul used it. So we know what the foreskin is on your person. But when you say foreskin of your heart, what do you mean? What's the foreskin of your heart? Now, the foreskin covers the head, on the finger, right? So there must be a covering on the heart, right? Because the heart got to be circumcised, right? So what's he mean by that?
Stop being stubborn.
Yes. Because it's written right in the verse. It says, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, be no more stiff-necked, right? No, when the stiff-necked, you ain't listening. Verse 17. The Yahweh your Elohim is Elohim of gods and master of masters, a great Elohim, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not person nor take reward. Thus execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and love the stranger, and give them food and raiment. Love you therefore the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear Yahweh thy Elohim, him shalt thou serve, and to him shall thou flee and swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy Elohim, and hath done for these great and terrible things which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now Yahweh the Elohim may be as the stars of heaven of a multitude. Deuteronomy 11, verse 1. Therefore thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments always. And know you this day, for I speak not with your children which have not known, and which have not seen the chastisement of Yahweh your Elohim, his greatness and mighty hand and strength out arms, and his miracles and his acts, which he did in the midst of Egypt, unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and unto all his land, and what he did unto the army of Egypt, unto their 4 horses, and to their chariots. I made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them, and to pursue after. Now Yahweh hath destroyed them unto this day. And what he did unto you in the wilderness until you came unto this place. And what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the son of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their household and their tents, and all the substance that was in their possession in the midst of all Israel. But your eyes have seen all the great acts of Yahweh which he did. Therefore shall you keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that you may be strong and go in and possess the land, whither you don't possess it. And you may prolong your days in the land which I will swear unto your fathers to give unto them, and to their seed a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land which thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from which thou came out, for thou sow thy seed and watered it with thy foot as a garden of herbs. But the land where you go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven, a land which Yahweh the Elohim careth for. The eyes of Yahweh the Elohim are always planted from the beginning of the year unto the end of it. And it shall come to pass, and you shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, and love Yahweh your Elohim, and serve him with all your heart, all your soul, that I will give you the rain of the land in its due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy grain and thy wine and thine oil. And I will send grass in fields in thy fields for thy cattle, that they may eat and be full. Take heed to yourself that your heart be not deceived. Ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And then Yahweh's wrath became against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, that the land should give not her fruit, unless you perish unless you perish quickly from off the good land which Yahweh gives you. Therefore should you lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a frontness between your eyes, and you shall teach them the truth, speaking of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest thy way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thy house and upon thy gates, that your days be multiplied, that your days may be multiplied, the days of your children, in the land which Yahweh swore unto your father to give them as the days of heaven upon the earth. But if you shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you to do them, to love Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then will Yahweh drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Every place where thy soul and thy foot shall tread, it shall be yours. From the wilderness in Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even to the utmost sea, shall thy coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before thee, for Yahweh the Elohim, and for Yahweh your Elohim, shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that you shall tread upon, as he hath said us. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing, and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim, which I command you this day, and a curse if you will not obey the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim. But turn aside out of the way, which I command you this day, to go after other gods which you have not known. And it shall come to pass, when Yahweh the Elohim have brought thee in unto the land which he sware with thou goest possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side of Jordan, by the way where the sun goes down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in Champaign, over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Moab, where you shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land, Yahweh, your Elohim, giveth you, and you shall possess it and dwell therein, and you shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. Deuteronomy 12, verse 1. These are the statutes and judgments which you shall observe to do in the land, which Yahweh Elohim of thy father giveth thee to possess it, all the days that you live upon the earth. And you shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which you shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains, and upon the hills, and under every green tree, and you shall overthrow their altars, to break their pillars, and burn their groves with fire. And you shall hew down the graven image of their gods, and destroy the names of them out of that place. You shall not do so unto Yahweh your Elohim, but unto the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose out of all your tribes, to put his name there, even to his habitation, even unto his habitation shall you seek, and thither thou shalt come. So what we have here, Yahweh being with his people, As long as that tabernacle was around, he was there with his people all the time. That doesn't mean he spoke to them all the time, but they want his voice, right? So Yahweh gave the specs for the temple he wanted to build. Solomon had to build for him. So Yahweh was there at that temple until they ran along. You don't know. Now we know that by the time the Babylonians came into the land of Israel, the Ark of the Covenant was already gone. The mercy seat, all that stuff is gone. It happened, must have happened right before, actually after Josiah. King Josiah had the Ark of Covenant brought back into the temple. So between that time, King Zedekiah, the Ark got away. You know what? So we know where it is now. But how I got there, this would have to rely on Ezekiel. They saw the spirit on the mount, and the spirit was taken off that mount and went up to heaven. So that would be that's included with what happened when the ark was taken away. But Herod built a temple for the Jews. It was much bigger than Solomon's temples. But they had the most holy place in that temple, because there was nothing there. They just had it open. I mean, they still did increase their duties. I don't know what they did on the Day of Atonement, since the priest was going to anoint the altar. But I guess they did. Going through the road. That's every blood, man. Let's continue. Chapter 12, right? Deuteronomy 12, verse 1. These are the statutes and judgments which you shall observe and do in the land which Yahweh Elohim by father giveth thee to possess it all the days that you live upon the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which you shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountain, upon the hills, and on every green tree. And you shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. And you shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy the names of them of that place. You shall not do so unto Yahweh your Elohim. But unto the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even until his habitation shall say you seek, and thither thou shalt come, and thither you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices to me, tithes and heave offerings of your land, and your vows and your freewill offering, and firstlings of your herds and of your flocks. And there you shall eat before Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall rejoice in all that you put your hand unto you and your household. For in Yahweh thy Elohim hath blessed you. You shall not do after all the things that you do here today, this day, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. But you have not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Yahweh your Elohim gives. But when you go over Jordan and dwell in the land which Yahweh your Elohim giveth you to inherit, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that you dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall you bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the heave offering of your land, and all your choice vows which you vow unto Yahweh. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim, you and your sons and your daughters, and your manservants, and your maidservants, and the Levite that is within thy gates and your gates, for as much as you have no part or inheritance with you. Take heed to thyself that thou offer not the burnt offerings in every place that thou seest. But in the place which Yahweh shall choose in one of thy tribes, there thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, there shall thou do all that I command. Notwithstanding, Thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of Yahweh thy Elohim, which he hath given thee. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the robot and as of the hart. Only you shall not eat the blood. You shall pour it upon the earth as water. Thou mayest not eat within thy gate tithe of thy grain, and of thy wine, and of thy oil, and of thy purslane, the herds, or of thy flock, nor any of thy vows, which thou vowest, or thy free will offering, or heave offering of thine hand. For thou must eat them before Yahweh thy Elohim in place which Yahweh thy Elohim shall choose, and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and Levite was within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before Yahweh thy Elohim in all that thou puttest thine hand unto. Take heed to thyself that thou forsake not the Levite as long as thou livest on the earth. For Yahweh thy Elohim shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. If the place which Yahweh thy Elohim hath chosen to put his name there be too far from thee, then thou shalt kill of the herd and of the flock which Yahweh hath given thee, as I commanded thee. Thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Even as the roebuck and hart is eaten, so shall thou eat from them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it, thou shalt pour it upon the earth as water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of Yahweh. Only thy holy days thou hast, and thy vows thou shalt take, and go unto the place which Yahweh shall choose. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings and thy flesh, thou shalt offer thy burnt offering, flesh, and the blood upon the altar of Yahweh thy Elohim, and the blood of the sacrifice shall be poured out upon the altar of Yahweh thy Elohim. Thou shalt eat flesh. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee forever. When thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of Yahweh thy Elohim. When Yahweh thy Elohim shall cut off nations from before thee, when thou goest to possess them, thou shalt succeed in them, dwell up in thy land. Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that you inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so that I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto Yahweh thy Elohim, for every abomination to Yahweh which he hated hath they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. What things soever I command you, observe to do it, and thou shalt not add thereto nor diminish all from it. I will see him. Chapter that one. Deuteronomy 13, verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet, a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof the Spirit unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, whom thou hast not known. Let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams. That Yahweh your Elohim prove it, to know whether we love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul. You shall walk after Yahweh your Elohim and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from Yahweh your Elohim. which brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust you away out of the way, thrust you out of the way which Yahweh commanded thee to walk in him. So shall thou put evil away from the midst of thee. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, yourself, come and turn this man away from me. Appreciate that. Yes, sir. Let's stop at verse 5. So at verse 5.
Yeah, you started at 6 now.
It's a 6 now. Okay. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son or thy daughter, or thy wife, or thy bosom, or thy friend, which is on thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou or thy fathers. Name of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him. Neither shall thine eye pity him. Neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him. But thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him, to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. And thou shalt stone him with stone, that he die, because he has sought to first be away from Yahweh thy Elohim, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. That all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you. If thou shalt hear say in one of thy cities, which is Yahweh thy Elohim, give thee to dwell there, saying, certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of that city, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which you have not known. Then shall thou inquire and make search and ask diligently, and behold, if it be true, and a thing certain that such an abomination is brought among you, thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it so utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof with the edge of the sword. And thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and shalt burn with the fire the city, and all the spoil thereof, every whit, with Yahweh thy Elohim. And it shall be a heap forever, it shall not be built again. And there shall cleave not of the cursed thing to thine hand, that Yahweh may turn from the fierceness of his anger, and show thee mercy, and have compassion upon thee, and multiply thee as he has sworn unto thy father. But thou shalt hearken unto Yahweh, to the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to keep all his commandments, which I command thee this day, to do that which is right, and in honor of Yahweh thy Elohim. I'm going to stop right here. Brother and sister, are there any questions before we dismiss?
Deuteronomy, chapter, verse 5 and chapter 13.
You learn what
I
now?
mean, right here, chapter 5,
Good.
verse 5, chapter 13, verse 5. Now, we know we can't do this in the America. You know, that's obsolete, but now on the way to the wilderness, in the wilderness, probably have to look like after the wilderness anyway, but I know the angels gonna be out there, but like it's verses like this that make like, okay, that part of law is kind of like almost obsolete now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because
So about
like right
false
now,
prophet.
yeah, I'm saying like right now we're in America, so we can't do this.
No,
Okay,
our
but-
judgment has been taken away.
Right. So but on our way to the wilderness, in the wilderness, angels gonna be taking care of this.
For judgment's concerned,
Right.
yeah, because if you walking like a Mashiach, you don't have a warlike mind.
No.
You're not judging money, so the man you gotta take care of that business.
So when we come out the wilderness, shouldn't none of this be going on anyway? So it's kind of
Well-
like this part of law is kind of obsolete. You see what I'm saying?
You're not gonna be the same when you come out the living.
Right.
So you're gonna be ready for war. Just like our father were when they came out with 40-year wilderness, they're ready for war. So yeah, when you come out, you be a changed man, especially when you go to the secret place.
Right.
And y'all will try you to steal the tribe. You're not gonna be the same person that came into the wilderness. You're gonna be another person when you come out that wilderness.
What I'm saying is all the people that come out the wilderness should be righteous, right?
Yeah, all the righteous come out that
Right.
wilderness.
So like judgments like this, it's like no more need for it no more. Then. You see what I'm saying?
You won't need what?
Well, we don't need for judgments like this no more. Then. You see what I'm saying? Like we can't do it here in America. In the wilderness, the angels gonna take care of it. We come out the wilderness, ain't nobody gonna be doing this. So like this part of law kind of kind of obsolete now. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but let's I tell you what, hold on a second. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 13. And see what they say in there about what we just read here in Deuteronomy 13 about the false prophets. Pick this up at verse 1 to verse 5. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. Now you know that we're talking about the kingdom of heaven. And it shall come to pass in that saith Yahweh, for that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, that they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirits to pass out of the land. And it shall come to pass that when any shall prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, without speaking lies or take of God. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesied. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed, every one of the vision, and when he hath prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to the seed. For he shall say, I am no prophet, I am a farmer, for man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. So even if they were a prophet, they said, no, I'm not a prophet. You're not gonna have to be concerned like that's the judgment. Deuteronomy 13, you don't be concerned about it.
I mean, but like a lot of the judgments, like I mean, as far as right now, it's like there's no purpose. There's no purpose in them no more. But like I say, we can't do it here in America. Like I said, angels got it in the wilderness, not the wilderness. Shouldn't nobody be doing those things anyway. So it's like I mean, kind of like you know what I'm saying? Kind of like
They ain't gonna know no better.
right.
They've been doing this for over 400 years. So they're locked in. So the only way there are people with no understanding, like read in Isaiah 27. So Yahweh the native will not have mercy about it. That's all you can say about it. Anything else? All right,
I got one of them.
all right.
In Deuteronomy chapters 9 and verse 18 or 17 when he broke the two tables with the Ten Commandments. So verse 18, and I fell down before Yahweh that the first 40 days and 40 nights I did neither eat bread nor drink water, because of all your sins which you sinned in doing wickedly in the sight of Yahweh, to provoke him to anger. And then chapter 10 and 10, And I stayed in the mountain according to the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And Yahweh hearkened unto me at that time also, and Yahweh would not destroy me. I always looked at him going back the second time was just for the table and stone, for the commandment. So was that fasting for the children of Israel? For them to be forgiven?
Um, what it says in verse 18. Pick up verse 17. And I took the two tables and cast them out of my two hands and break them before your eyes. And I fell down before Yahweh as at the first 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink the water, because of all your sins, which you've sinned and doing wickedly in the sight of Yahweh, for the anger. Now you ask me why they fast here.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Was it for the sins of the children of Israel? Because
Yes.
he was getting ready to cut them off.
Right. They fasted.
I always thought he just went up there just to get tables
No,
and stones again.
this is not him going up to the mountain
Okay.
again. Right? When he came down from the mountain, he broke those stone tablets. And this time he fasted 40 days and 40 nights again. Then you get chapter 10, went back up to the mountains and got the new tables of stone.
Okay. Praise Yahweh.
She said, when the children of Israel refused to go into the land, can't remember exactly where that is, go into the land, didn't he fast 4 days, 4 nights then to keep Yahweh from killing the children of Israel because they didn't want to take the land before they did the 40 years in the wilderness?
You know, Numbers 14?
Yeah, they didn't want to go in land. And I think somewhere in this area where I think when they want to go in land, he want to destroy them all. I guess before he did the 40 years in the wilderness, then he like fast 4 days, 4 nights again then too.
I don't call him fasting because of that. You know, when you fast, yeah, it says he's fast right here in Deuteronomy chapter 9. But when he went up into the mountain, he said, I ate nothing, neither bread nor drink any water. It's not like he was fasting. He couldn't eat or drink anything because he was listening to Yahweh giving him instructions. But he purposely fasted because of the sins of the children of Israel. Right? So that's two different things being said here. And when you go back to Numbers when they were too fearful, they go into the land. That 40 figure had to do more with the 40 days when they went to search out the land. Right. Then you got when they too fearful go into the land, they'll stay out there 40 years. That's the only place that they place that 40 figure because of the time that they spent. But yeah, he fasted in chapter 9, just for the sins of the church of Israel, but he went back up into the mountain. He was seated at the table. Are there no questions? Yeah. See what's in the chat. Brother Abraham on Facebook. Shalom, Brother Abraham. Shalom, Shamayan, Yasharala, Elder. Shalom on the real book. Shalom, Shamayan, Yasharala, Elder. Shalom, Brother Al-Hayim. Sister Malaka. Shalom, Repentant Judah. Shalom, Sister Nira. Niara, Israel. Shalom, Judah Techuba. Shalom, Brother Eliyahu in Israel. Shalom Morning Crisp, Shalom Susie Garvin, Shalom Elder Tobiah, Shalom Brother Mickey Anderson, Shalom Brother Kevin Birch, Shalom Brother Malachi, Shalom Baria, Baria Sharala, Shalom Trey Kingfish Minor, Shalom Brother Adrian Davis, Shalom Esra Yasharala, Shalom Brother Yevon Yahoo, Kevin Birch said, Elder, I have a question. And to the brothers, Shalom, my question, Elder, in Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy, they're speaking as if we're talking directly to Elohim. So there was no passage in prayer that we had to pray to Yahshua first to get to the Father. Is that true? Well, that is an order to your prayer, in that most times you pray for forgiveness. What they did was to obtain forgiveness, they would make an animal sacrifice, and they take it to the priest, and the priest would make an atonement for them, so they'd be forgiven of their sins. But as far as prayer concerned, it's not going to mention the Mashiach at this point. We see that Moshe prayed, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov prayed. You listen to that prayer, you see the prayer of Hannah, and you hear the prayer of Daniel. It doesn't mention anything about the Mashiach, but yet he answered the prayer. So, but that was false. The Levitical priesthood is still set up, right? So there was no need to go to a priest outside of Aaronic priesthood. But when the Mashiach showed up, he said, no one goes to the Father but by me now. Right? So he's exercising his power as a priest under order of Melchizedek. Okay. So yeah, it's his role as priest that we go through the Mashiach. It's like the role that Aaron was priest. That there's an order to these things, so that when the people sin, they make an atonement for the sin by bringing an animal sacrifice. But now, when you sin before Yahweh, you you ask for forgiveness through His Son Yahshua HaMashiach, because He would be the last sacrifice, right? He would be the sacrifice without blemish, like the animals that our Father used was commanded to bring animals without blemish. Mashiach is that same unblemished sacrifice. That was sacrificed for our sins. So they already foresaw that one day we wouldn't have that temple anymore. And one day we will not have that altar burnt offering. So we still will sin, but we have to have some mechanism, some process to ask Yahweh for forgiveness. That was through Mashiach Yahshua.
So in the kingdom, when the animal sacrifice come back, even though Yahshua will be there, does the order of the prayer change, or just stays the same as it is now? I mean, like, I would pray because he's actually there. You know what I mean? And the animal sacrifices are back again. So how does that if that
Oh, you mean when the kingdom is set up?
the kingdom set up? How the prayer gonna change again? Then, right?
The animal sacrifice coming back, and you're still gonna sin,
Right.
right? So there won't. Well, I'm looking at it, there won't be a need. But let me think about that. I want to say not too soon, because you do everything in the name of Yahshua, but He has to set His government up, and He'll have to let us know how our prayers should we still pray in the name of Yahshua. I just pray to the Father and we make that animal sacrifice. Good question. Let me meditate on it. Shalom, Melinda Courage. Shalom, Yashar is love. Yeah, I hope that helped you, Brother Kevin. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. We need to say in the name of Yahshua to indicate. Shalom, Sister Rachel. Shalom, Wide Awake, Great A. Shalom, Gregory Rucker. Shalom, different mindset 2. Shalom, morning, Chris. Please give me an example of a statute. Is statute the same as judgments? Thanks again. Shalom. Along with the law, they had to have somehow to explain the law. That's where your statutes come in. Statutes are not judgments. For instance, in the animal sacrifice, when you sin, you have to bring an animal. But the statutes tell you what kind of animal to bring, and then the statutes also tell you that the animal must be without blemish. So everything that you have to do to make an atonement, the statutes tell you this is how it's done, step by step. Every process involved. It explains the law. When you steal, you still have to be forgiven for stealing. And the statute saying you got to bring it as a trespass law or some kind of animal to forgive you of that sin. So that was a statute, an ordinance, like Paul said in Colossians chapter 2. So that would be the difference between statute and judgment. And judgment is the final outcome of the sin. So that whatever you sin against Yahweh, that judgment would actually fall on that animal, because the animal is substitutionary. You're supposed to be the animal. So the judgment would fall on that animal. In the case of the kingdom, let me see. Yeah, those statutes and judgments are coming back, animal sacrifice is coming back. But as far as the statutes are concerned, my dear, they just explain the law. That's all they do. Shalom, Solomon in Israel.
The circumcision.
Mhm.
It's like for the circumcision. You knew what we had to do for the circumcision with the ring, right? It's kind of like the circumcisions.
The statutes,
Yeah.
that actually is a command.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like statue part, about at 8 years old, 8 days on there.
That's statute.
You know,
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's something else.
No, that's it.
Shalom, Solomon in Israel. To keep that food when I go up to the house of Elohim, be more ready to hear. There's a give and sacrifice of foods, but they said not that they can evil.
You had the demons on here earlier. You had the demons on here earlier.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Praise God. You feel Shalom, Shalom, Kimberly, Israel, Shalom, Abisha, Judah. Amen. Okay, I see now. You just keep coming up. All right. Then I have, Brother Kim Birch. Then I have one more question of Deuteronomy chapter 7. You just read about verse 2 and chapter 7, verse 2. Who is this going to destroy or split these people that's in the land? Is it us? Yeah, because it reads as if it's saying when you got Elohim shall deliver them before thee, the shall smitten them. So we would have to be the one to destroy them. Is that correct, Elder? Well, Yahweh fights our battles. All right, now we're flesh and blood people, but when it comes to the victory, you have to give Yahweh the glory because our relationship with Yahweh. When Joshua and the children of Israel went into the land of Canaan, they always glorified Yahweh for defeating defeating the enemy. Even though what Yahweh was doing, using that flesh to fight other flesh, but this flesh was different, was different than the rest of the flesh that they fight against. So that because Yahweh love thy father, he fought our battles. So that's why we won so many battles. That's why David won so many battles. Because Yahweh was with him. Right. So in all things we give Yahweh the glory. Now we could have done it on our own. To make sure Yahweh got that glory. Shalom, Abisha Judah. Can you elaborate on Yahweh being a jealous Elohim? I understand worshiping other gods and Ten Commandments. Why? Well, why are people jealous of each other? I was quite did I hit the question mark? So let me read it again. It says, if you may, can you elaborate on Yahweh being a jealous Elohim? I understand worshiping other gods, Ten Commandments, but why are people jealous of each other? And so that's one of the things that man inherited from his image of Yahweh. But Yahweh created man in his own image, right? But part of that image is jealousy, hate, what wrong with us. So he's not just a physical image that we have created in the image of. We have all the attributes of Yahweh. So all the emotions of Yahweh have. Yahweh, so he hates something, we gotta hate what he hates. Yahweh loves someone, we gotta love what he loves. So the same thing with jealousy. Yahweh jealous of his people. When they just like a man is jealous of his wife, if she starts seeing another man, the husband will be jealous of her. Well, that's the same thing with us in our relationship with Yahweh. Because if we start worshiping other gods, then Yahweh's gonna be jealous. Right? He'll do something about it. Yeah. That's what that's talking about. But at least but Kevin Burke, you said a whole lot, but I didn't get uh but the last part of the question. Yeah, is Yahweh again? Yahweh giving us a land that then Yahweh's gonna show us how to take the land. Right, so but he gets to look. Shalom Elder Azariah, Shalom Sister Kendra Davis, Shalom Elder Mick, Shalom Brother Yahweh, and you. We have learned work idols, Jake Ruthless.
Yeah, they were swarming tonight.
Praise Yah. Yeah. Shalom Julius Brown, Shalom Wide Awake Dre Day. Shalom Brother Alahayan, praise Yah for Yahweh get the glory. Kevin Richard Hill, I know I shouldn't ask this question, but I have one more question. Is this the 3.5 years in the wilderness, the way it's being taught in Deuteronomy? No, at that particular time, they had spent 40 years in the wilderness. And so they're just not starting to come out. The end of the 40 years, they get ready to go ahead and take the land. Our wilderness experience would be 3.5 years. So it's not the same wilderness. Shalom, Brother Ezra. Elder, didn't we talk last week about a world ruler in the Bible called Yah's servant? I got into a debate about Trump being Yah's servant. Would he be servant or a tool being used by Yah? Well, all the presidents and kings on Yahweh chose those people to be presidents and kings. So it's not like Trump is going to be not special. No, whoever this is, it's not going to be Trump. It's not going to be an American. It's going to be someone else. And we already know that according to Revelation 13 is referring to the Pope. Because that's the number of the beast. And the number of the beast is 666. And that also happens to correspond with the title of the Pope. Vicar of Christ, Vicar of God. So Trump doesn't have 666 of its 4 years. No, Trump is only interested in ruling America. He's not interested in ruling the world. Right, so that's one find 100% American, that'll be it. He does not care about ruling the world. America's not trouble for him anyway. He doesn't want to be ruling everybody else. It got everybody else hating him. So America's a dog. So it won't be Trump, Brother Andrew. It'll be somebody else that fits uh Revelation 13. Because whoever this is, he's gonna cause fire to come out of heaven. And I don't think Trump is that type of person to cause fire to come out of heaven. He might want to strike up a business deal with the Pope. I don't know. Yeah.
Brother Priest, American slaves will be destroyed. With Trump and his billionaire buddies, do you think it's a possibility that they could try to fight the military in a way, do a military coup type thing, so he could be president past these 4 years he got,
I don't think
and it might set off that civil war whenever he tries to do a military coup to keep himself in power?
I don't think he wants to stay in.
You don't think so?
That's an American want to keep the American Constitution. Right? So you see how old he is. He teased people, so I might run again. But now you got a constitutional problem. Because that sounds like a third term. No such over serve 2 terms. So he served 1 term. But they reelected. It's not like he tried to serve a back-to-back. He tried to serve a back-to-back term. And he could have done it if he wanted. But he skipped a period of 4 years with another administration. So would this be considered a first term again? This term we got here.
I think that would be a
So
second.
if you count this as the first term, then he's eligible for a second term. Right now, if it's going to cause him problems, he's not going to go. Besides that, you got J.D. Vance, Young, ready to get out there and do something. If we last that long. But he doesn't seem like the type that wants to be a dictator. I want to usurp power. He doesn't think because the man got too much game, and he's more of a chess player than a checker. So he's thinking that he's 5 moves ahead of him before you even know what he's thinking of. But I believe that want to stay in office will cause him more problem. He won't have a problem. Right? What he trying to do now? You see how fast he's moving. You're trying to get the thing straight before he leaves. Right? So he got all kinds of obstacles out there. So he's moving that fast because he knows that he may not be able to run for president again because what is 79 years old now? So in 4 years he'll be 83. He probably ready to rest and sit back and relax. 83. Right. Brother Ezra, he will be considered Yahweh servant, like I said before. I'll tell you what, let's go to Daniel and show you what I'm talking about. Daniel chapter, I think one was Daniel chapter 4. Daniel chapter 4. In verse 17, it says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers." And when Daniel talked to King Nebuchadnezzar. "This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the Holy Gods, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over the basis of men." So again, it's not. That's why Yahweh set Trump up. That means he's still Yahweh's servant. Yahweh put him. So we can't speak against him. Yahweh put him in office. So yeah, he is Yahweh's servant. Biden was Yahweh's servant. Obama, Bush, Clinton, all the way back to the first president of America, they were all Yahweh's servants.
So Putin and Zelensky and all the people, they Yahweh service.
They Yahweh service too. Yeah, Putin police. Yeah. You know, they're the ones that have to move people to do something, whatever they want done. They need a human person that the people can recognize and follow to do what Yahweh want them to do. All right. Okay, I don't see anything else at the edge. That's not what's in okay. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, Facebook, YouTube. You put in something, ask a question, I'll make a comment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, let's go ahead and shut it down. Oh yeah, we have a new little service coming up this Friday night. Now, let me invite you out. Let me Friday night. Let me not overlook the sisters, man. Do they have? Are they having a class? They've been kind of down. I don't know. You might have to check, see if the sisters class on this 5th day, which is Thursday, but they about to check Zoom. They may, what she does normally is to get on Facebook and say that the sisters class is canceled. So if you're on Facebook, look for that notification that there will be no sister class this week. But Yahweh willing, we will have a new moon service this coming Friday at sunset. Okay. And then the next day we have our Sabbath service. You can sort of join us. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Again, thank you, Facebook. Thank you, YouTube. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Shalom.